Inside the Barriers, brought to you by BetDeluxe. Serious betting for serious punters.
Hello and welcome to Inside the Barriers, brought to you by BetDeluxe. $20 million for 2 horse races in Australia. Of course, the Everest, $15 million at Randwick, and a beauty, the Caulfield Cup, the time-honoured Caulfield Cup here in Melbourne. Over $5 million there. What a great day to be racing around Australia. And we've got the right team here. There he is, the punter's prince down the end there, Paul SEBASTIANI. Welcome.
BM, how are you?
I'm doing well. And our new man, Cuz.
Carls, it's been a really good week of racing so far, obviously with Saturday and Wednesday. But looking forward to this Saturday. Depends what the rain's going to do, though, what the man upstairs says.
Look, we're lucky to have you here on the set. I know Hollywood's going to be calling. We'll probably lose you in time. Sing Spiel, you don't take his calls. How are you finding it? How are you finding the media work?
I'll tell you what, it's very tiring. I thought wasting, losing weight, driving to the races, riding and then driving home, I thought that was tiring, but with having all the cameras in your face all day and the heat of the lights and also having to concentrate the whole time, it's something that I'm not really good at, but
well, you're a jockey.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I agree. We don't concentrate that much.
What about sleeping in? I know you've got a little one, another one on the way, but do you get, through the normal regime would be you'd be up at 3:30 going off to Cranbourne, could be piddling down rain and you're riding a couple that want to throw you off. What's the life like at the moment just in the interim period?
I'll tell you what, BM, I'm not actually sleeping in. I've got a body clock.
Yeah.
I've done it my whole life. So generally, my eyes will first open at 3 a.m. and I'm sitting there going, go back to sleep, and then I have to wait another half hour before I can get back to sleep. But usually from 5 a.m. onwards, I've got to get up because I can't go back to sleep.
You get a cup of coffee, get motivated.
I annoy my partner by just rolling around.
Tell you what, though, we've got to be up and about for this punter's pick. There's no rest for the faint-hearted.
What's it up to now?
$600. It just keeps jackpotting. I reckon we might be on Tats Lotto, on a Tats Lotto path the way we're going at the moment. But
okay, so $600 if we can get 1, 2, 3 in the big one, the Caulfield Cup. Yep. And if we get that on our own, we can go to Dan Murphy's and spend $600.
Absolutely, yeah. So
sounds good.
Thanks to all the entries last week in the Caulfield Guineas as well. We didn't have any winners, obviously. Jackpotting to $600. Pick the first 3 in the Caulfield Cup this weekend. Make sure you leave your comments in the Facebook comments section here. And good luck to the punters who enter in the $600 Dan Murphy's gift voucher running. 2
cracking days of racing, of course, 2 states in New South Wales, and we'll come to the Everest. But the Caulfield Cup, and the big talking point is barrier 20. For Incentivise, look, geez, he ticks every box, as they say, 55.5. I just wonder, Cuz, if the handicapper could have another crack at him, would he have 57?
Definitely. Oh, yeah, I think he would. Peter Moody's a master, though, bringing them through so they can get them the least weight that they can, and he's done that. And I don't know when was the last time I've seen a top weight in a Caulfield Cup have that weight. It would be a lot. You know more about it, BM, than me, because you've been here in Australia longer.
Certainly have.
And been in racing longer than I have.
I called 28 of them, but I've been watching them from when I was about 9 years of age. So I've been seeing a few and seeing some champions and seeing some mighty efforts, but it's always been a weight spread of about 9 to 10 kilos. Going back even further, I found, and going back through the records, there was Burnborough's year in 1946, and he had something like 10-10. And there was a horse went around with 6'10". There was a 25.5 kilo difference from top weight to the bottom. 108,000 people went there, and Mully got lost on Burnborough and flashed home, but he is a champion. But normally there'd be a spread of about, as I say, around 8 to 9. But no imports this year. See, no internationals.
I think the big thing as well is that those horses out of the weight for age races, they don't get any real weight advantage over Incentivise in this race as well. And everyone, like, we're talking about the barrier too. I mean, Cuz, you mentioned it before the rain. It might actually be better served to be out wide on the track, not Shane Divey-Andercross type coming around from Caulfield Station. But I think, look, he's a $2.40 favourite, and I think before the barrier draw, he was odds on with us, leading into the race from a futures perspective. But I think sometimes I think the market can play too much towards, they see a double figure barrier and it's just, you can't win. We've got to risk him. I think $2.40 on offer might be a gift.
I reckon he might even push out further. And with those gates, Murderglace barrier 17.
Correct.
2
Spot
years
on the
ago.
money. Yeah.
Go back a little bit further, 2012. Gate 18 for Dunedin. Like, it's not impossible.
No.
With 55.5 on your back. And I just think, what does he do? He gets a chance to look across and see what's going on. Mickey Mannion, back in 1968 in Bunratty Castle, drew 18 and was on the fence in front at the winning post the first time. He took about 6 out with him on the way through.
I think from barrier 20, Brett would rather be there than draw.
He'll get into 18 waiting with the
Well, if he draws 1, he's got to push him like he has been doing in the weight for age races, which just because it's weight for age, he's done that. But now back to a handicap, I think the barrier 20 allows him to get there in his own time. He doesn't have to lead. He's proven that when he's raced in Brisbane. He doesn't have to lead. He can come off speed. So I think he'll just, in the first furlong, sum up whether he's going to push him or he's just going to sit and be where he thinks he's comfortable.
Let me ask you this. Watching the Turnbull, as a horseman, do you think Moody left a little in the tank? What did you think of the horse going through the line and after?
Yeah, I definitely. You watch that horse though, and I've mentioned it on air, working with racing.com, that he still hasn't changed to his right leg. At the half mile, he was on the right leg, and then he got to the 600 at Flemington and he changed onto the wrong leg. He never changed back to the right leg again. He stayed on that the whole way. So to me, he still is in his mind working out how to get around our way of going. And a tight course like Caulfield, it might bring him unstuck. The wet track might bring him unstuck. I know he's won on wet tracks, but that was in maiden class and Class 1 races, so he was just too good. And I don't mind the barrier 20 because with the rain, say we don't get it, it's going to be a problem. But if we get that 40 to 60 mils that they're saying, it actually brings them into play.
Definitely.
So what are we sort of basing our form on? Sort of a soft 6, something like that?
Probably, yeah.
Rail
Soft
back
6
true.
and worse, yeah, definitely. I think by that time the Caulfield Cup is run, there's going to be however many races that have been run.
27 races from Saturday, Wednesday,
I think the inside's going to be inferior. And you see it more so at Caulfield, they sort of fan off and maybe horses darting up the inside could get a chance.
Yeah,
as well.
One thing to think about though, people, if you have backed Incentivise, you go back to the media, what Brett Preble said about him. He said he trialled him, even though it was only a 1,200 metre trial at Cranbourne, it was a heavy track, and Brett said he never changed his action. He never dipped, he never dived. He said he actually travelled through it.
It's a heavy 8 too.
Yeah, so if it gets too heavy, I wouldn't be worried. It's just got to think how much work he does, but Brett's a G1 jockey.
Yeah,
he knows
riding
what
in
to do.
fantastic form.
What about
as well.
Ollie?
Yeah.
Ollie riding a half kilo over, that's fair enough. He's out there in the car park too. What does he do? He can get a bit fired up, this horse.
Makes Incentivise work.
Yeah.
I think that's what Ollie will be wanting to do. He'll come out the barriers and he'll have a look to see what Brett's going to do because they're going to, be first and second favourites maybe
Yes,
in the
they are.
race.
Yeah.
Well, Incentivise is favourite and the other horse is second favourite. So he knows that he's got to make Brett work with the weight. And obviously from the barrier, Delphi the other day, he only got keen because going out of the straight, he got carved up. He got crossed by Dean Holland on the horse of Paul Pruskers, and obviously he had Luke Curry outside him. So Luke Curry got suspended for it.
Right.
So
Then they really tugged, didn't they?
before that, he wasn't tugging, but because you know what you say yourself, if you get interrupted in anything, whether it be in a car, you're going to toot and you're going to get angry.
Yeah.
Well, the horse just got angry and got fired up. So if that doesn't happen, I think Ollie will be okay, and from the wide barrier, it's not going to happen.
I reckon Ollie might have a little bit to say on what Preble did to him in the Alcyon race as well. Preble sort of pocketed him, so he might need it. Yeah, there is a little bit. Preble's a new fella on the seat.
Everyone plays jockeys. You know, when the money's up, you have to play jockeys because you want to win those big races. You want to get on the big stage. And Brett yesterday just said, "Sorry, Carlson, you stay there, Carlson, I'm going to win the race."
Yeah, it's going to be
Stay
interesting.
there, old fella.
Yeah, stay there, goat. They might be the goat,
Exactly.
but I'm doing it.
You might be the goat, but you stay there.
Yeah.
Ollie's won 4 Caulfield Cups. The record's held by the great Scobie Breesley. So he gets his chance to equal that record. He's probably running out of time now in the twilight. 2.5 kilos between the two, with Ollie riding a half over, so he rides 53.
3, yep.
55.5. Gee, they're very close.
They are, exactly. And I think it might even be a tip in itself that Ollie's getting down to that weight
sure
as
it
well.
is.
Yeah, look, from my point of view, I haven't got Delphi in the top 3. I just don't know about that Herbert Power form. You know, you mentioned that the Turnbull form is the way to go and has been over the last sort of 15 years. But if I was tipping a trifecta, I'm Incentivise, the chosen one, and she's Ideel. I think those two Kiwi horses. That's not because Cuzzy's here, but I actually like those two for second and third, BM. Interesting
you talk about the Turnbull. In the last 20 years, 12 horses have come through the Turnbull. 5 of them have won into the Caulfield Cup. Now, in that 20 years, there are 5 horses that have come internationally, have run on the Caulfield Cup first up. So if you take those 5 out of the 20, you get back to 15, and 12 of the 15 and 5 have been winners, have all come via Turnbull. So it's the hot form.
Yeah, it's that recipe for success as well. Wait for age, back to a handicap. If you had to pick a top 3 in this gentleman, who would we be going for, Cuzzy?
Obviously, Cuz, I'm going to put Incentivise in.
Yep.
I just can't go around P. Moody being the trainer and Brett Preble, the form he's in.
Yep.
Obviously, I've got to go with him. I like Delphi because I love horses heading into a wet track on the backup.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be rock hard fit, so obviously I like him. And Duas yesterday was really, really good. And you know that the mile and a half is just going to be up her 4-year-old mares. And don't forget Master of Wine, though. He was super. He showed a really good glimpse of form the other day. Gets through the wet. And if it does get that 60 mils, don't leave the chosen one out. So I know I've gone past the first 3, but don't forget the chosen one, because Murray Baker is the best at having them peak in these staying races, and especially on wet tracks. So don't leave him alone.
I had him in the quaddie last year, remember? The chosen one.
At 100, it would have been about 100 to 1.
Or something.
Yeah. And it was a better race last year.
Better race, very elegant. Beat Anthony Van Dyke. Much better race. I think he'll get to $2.50, even $2.60 late.
Yep.
Incentivise. I'll be tuning into him on those odds. I think the chosen one, I agree with you, grand final time, Murray Baker, targeted beautifully. And the wet ground, no problem, number 4. And I reckon Explosive Jack will run a blinder for the Melbourne Cup here, number 3. Yeah. So I'm staying up the top 2, 4, 3.
Nice, beautiful, yep. And now we've got these juvenile staying races, BM, the Ethereal and the Caulfield Classic. Shall we start with the... We'll start with the Ethereal. I think we'll get stuck straight into that. This Kapalua Sunset, $2.20 elect, a very, very smart maiden winner, won by over 7 lengths as well. She's a $2.20 elect to win this Ethereal Classic. Biscayne Bay stalking at around that $7, $8 quote. Glint of Hope as well at $8, and then it's basically double figures the rest. But there's a little each way play I want to have in this race. Now, she's still a maiden. Clary Connors trains this filly, Mokalua. The market has been siding with her the last couple of starts, but she's been out wide and back with no cover, and she's been running up to them and then just sort of petering out late in the race. I think the middle barrier is going to suit her perfectly on the weekend. Step up to 2,000 as well. Craig Williams booked. I think on an each way basis at around the $10 to $11 quote, Mokalua could be the one to be within the Ethereal.
And I reckon there's one. I like to pick daisies. Number 11, put this in the trifecta. I think Kapalua Sunset wins. It runs short, number 10. But I'm with you with the Sydney filly, number 7. But Daisies is just going on a beautiful little Oaks preparation. Gets back, runs on, gets back. But I reckon it can run the trifecta. But what do you put?
Obviously Kapalua Sunset, I think it's the most replayed race for I don't know how long. You know, people looking for it. And Brett Preble won the other day at Flemington, one of the 3-year-old fillies races on another Danny O'Brien mount.
Yes.
And they asked Danny O'Brien of his 3-year-old fillies, can you separate them? Danny O'Brien, what a trainer would say, no, I can't separate them. I think they're
the diplomatic answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then Brett Preble got on and said, this one won't get near Kapalua Sunset. So
there's a good push.
So there's a good push. So once again, I go back to the wet track though. Yeah. Babies coming through, a lot of younger horses, first exposure to wet track, sometimes it can tip them up, so that may do that with her. But I like one at a little bit of odds stalking.
Okay.
Was unlucky the other day in that race and had to weave a path through. But looking forward to an Oaks trip, I really like her going forward. Yep.
What about the boys for the Derby?
Now, we made mention of this last week. Gunstock is the favourite at $3.20, and then you've got Tiz Magic as well at $7, Gundeck at $5, Micro at $4.40. But I just pray John McNeil settles just a little bit closer than he did last start.
Huge.
Blinkers on?
I think so, yes. So barrier 2, back to the home track. He'll handle the wet ground. He's going to be my best of the day and best of the weekend, Gunstock. Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
Both horses, Gunstock and Tis Magic, got back too far the other day. They couldn't win from where they were in the sectionals that they were running, but very good runs, hitting the line. 2 Kiwi-bred horses should handle the wet.
Yep. Spot
Perfect.
on.
Away from Caulfield, what about this Everest?
Well, this is enormous, BM. We've got 2 at the top of the market here. Nature Strip is our favourite, $3.50. Classic Legend, first up into this Everest. It's going to have to be a magnificent training performance by Les Bridger. I think...
But he went to Hong Kong as well, didn't he?
That's correct.
Yeah, he went to Hong Kong, come back.
Didn't like the food, came home.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't like the rice. And then, so obviously Les Bridger's got him back, and you look at his trials. Hey, if you look at him in just an average race, first up, and the way he's been trialling, you go, just wins. But this is an Everest.
Yeah.
And to do it first up, I've got my questions around it.
You would know better than anyone now. Trials are different to race day. The pressure's
speed,
different.
yes.
Exactly right. And look, Classic Legend at $3.90 second elect. Eduardo $5. G-Tra at $6.50. Run up to beat Eduardo and Nature Strip last start. Yeah,
Should have won. If he came off the back of them, would have beaten them.
Spot on.
Obviously, G-Tra's the horse I like.
Yeah.
My question...
He's got Barrier 1 too.
I know the horse has won at 1,300, but he's better around that 1,000, 1,100. So I'm a little bit worried about the 1,200 in a high-pressure race, but he's drawn a good barrier. So he's going to not have to go around a horse until he gets into the straight. Nature Strip handles the wet, loves the wet.
Yeah.
What's the forecast for Sydney Saturday?
Soft. I think Saturday's going to be clear, but in the lead-up, there's definitely going to be rain. And those Sydney tracks, we know that they're not the best at draining as well, so it might be difficult.
Barrier suits him, though.
Yeah, I think
Barrier suits him.
Yeah, he goes up outside the leader.
He can get there in his own time. He doesn't draw low and have to push because G-Tra can go forward as well. But in saying that, it is an Everest. You might get other horses that want to go as well. Exactly. The horse Masked Crusader was
unbelievable.
Tommy Berry's ride the other day. How good.
Can you do that again in this race?
Nah. The speed will be more genuine.
Yeah.
How far is he going to be off them at the top of the straight is what I need to ask the question. If he's 7 or 8 lengths off them at the top of the straight, he can't pick up the likes of Nature Strip, G-Tra and Eduardo.
Yeah.
But if he's within 3 lengths of them and he gets that same sort of ride and they've burnt themselves out on speed, he could pick them up.
Is the horse we just sort of disregarding a little bit, Eduardo? Look, what's he got to do? I know you're joined at the hip with him, Paul.
Yeah, look.
He went to Queensland. He was good there.
Yeah.
Nash, I think, said 8 rides on him for 6 wins.
I think the only knock for me on him is the price, I would say. And Nature Strip has started shorter than him pretty much every time they've gone head to head. So you have to respect that. You have to respect the market in that regard. But I think the one that I don't know if no one's really talking about him, but Home Affairs down the bottom, 53 kilos.
He's hot,
Barrier 6, and his win first up was super. Belted a pretty handy field, and at $8.50 the win and $2.90 the place, he's going to be my each way special this weekend. And we know G Boss loves a big race. There's Bossy. He'll be up in the irons. I don't think a final will really worry him in the last 50 metres if he wins this this race.
He's the best at his
you know, these horses in this race, even including the emergencies, they've won $40 million in prize money.
Incredible, isn't it?
They're shooting for a piece of the pie of $15 million. It's extraordinary money.
It's incredible.
And the internationals have to start targeting this race because of the dollars.
Yeah.
Their sprinters aren't that good, though. They're not as good, I should say.
Turbo and Blue Point and horses like that were very, very good, but they don't come along too often. Yeah. And, of course, they want to get them straight off the start.
That's exactly right.
So going out from the Northern Hemisphere to the Southern Hemisphere, big pot of gold, but what have I got left?
Yeah, I think this might be our race, BM, now. I don't think we'll be getting any international raiders.
But you've basically got the same pool of horses, though, haven't you?
Spot on.
Which probably gives us all the chance.
Australian horses are predominantly bred for speed, aren't
correct.
they? Where the European horses are predominantly bred to stay.
Plus,
so I don't know. I would love to see one, but not... Maybe a Hong Kong sprinter or
big weekend.
Something like that.
Huge weekend and a huge. It's just. I think just these races now, and I think the Everest is going to start to become one of those sort of stallion. But I think a stallion making, like we saw what happened with Yes, the prize money, and Coolmore have got Home Affairs, and if an I'm Invincible Colt can win a weight for age race like this, it's just worth anything at start. It's probably worth more to Chris Waller than what a Nature Strip would be, with all due respect.
Now, Punter's Prince, you've sent out a couple of good bets for this weekend. Just recap it.
I have indeed, yeah. Best of the weekend, I'm going to say, is Gunstock from a win perspective, but my 2 each way plays will be Mokalua in the Ethereal at Caulfield and Home Affairs each way in the Everest. I think they're going to be my best of the weekend. What about yourself, BM?
Yeah, I reckon you get the day going with Eagles Crag in the first. You're against it? You oppose?
I'm against it, yeah. I like Ghost Doctor on an each way basis in the first there at Caulfield, but Eagles Crag at $2.20. The OT,
yeah, and I'll be chiming into the fave in the Caulfield Cup. If it gets out to 250, 260, I'll open my purse, cuz.
If you had to pick one off the top of your head, cuz, best of the weekend.
If we get that 60 mils, I'm just going to throw something out at a bit odds, the Chosen One.
Chosen One.
I just think the weight, the wet track, the trainer Murray Baker, he's got a good record on staying races when he comes to Melbourne, not only Melbourne, Sydney. Just if that... The rain's got to come, though.
Yeah, of course.
For him to win it, the rain's got to come.
It's a perfect segue into the trifecta, the punters pick on the Caulfield Cup again. Make sure you leave your picks in the Facebook comment section of this post as well. $600 Dan Murphy's gift voucher coming your way, BM, if you can pick the trifecta of the Caulfield Cup. So a big weekend for the punters at BetDeluxe. And don't forget to log in to your BetDeluxe accounts, check out all the specials, tips.betdeluxe.com.au to check out all my handiwork this weekend as well, BM.
And he works pretty hard too. Good to see you, boys, and we're going to be back about this time next week and we'll have a look at this fabulous Cox Plate.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be intriguing, obviously, with Zaki getting beat the other day. But
what do you make of that?
Bad ride.
Playing jockeys a bit?
Just too busy worrying about other horses in the race. Ride his own race. He should have... If I'd have been on Zaki, I would have let him run. Yeah. I would have sat in front early, and then if something would have go too quick, then I would have went. But he just held him for too long, especially pre-race. The connections were saying they've told Craig at the 1,000 metres to do what James McDonald usually does and get going. At 1,000 metres, he was sitting. Yeah. The 800, he was still sitting. At the 700, he was still sitting. Then Homesman, Joe McNeil, used some initiative and got going. It was too late. But I still don't know if he gets around left-handed.
That's the thing. Big one coming up. Huge couple of weeks coming up, BM and Cuz.
Good to be a part of it, boys. Good on you. There it is, Inside the Barriers, brought to you by BetDeluxe. BetDeluxe, serious betting for serious punters. Gamble responsibly.
Inside the Barriers, brought to you by BetDeluxe. Serious betting for serious punters.